Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel, and in this video we are featuring another rare replay where we'll see a tier 9 doing 10k damage. We did feature a Sheridan in the same map where it was able to do 10k damage, also rare for light tank, but doing 10k in tier 9 is even more rare or special. So we are in Swamp. The replay was submitted by Tokido and he's in T54E1. This tank used to be a medium, but it was reforged last year or a year before, and now it's a heavy tank. With the reforge, there were a few changes because they increased the pen, they increased armor, reduced the mobility, increased the reload, and reduced the interclip. So the tank is a little bit more sluggish now with better pen. However, it still has a very good similar interclip or identical interclip to T57, so you can effectively dump your entire clip in 6 seconds, and especially when you're top tier, most of the time you don't even take a shot if you peek after the opponent has fired. The standard is APCR, premium, I don't think it's, maybe it's AP. Premium is heat. Heat does have better shell velocity than the standard, so you can just load all heat. He has 4 AT shell. I don't think it's worth it in an autoloader with like a long reload. The reload is 37 seconds base. I guess you can get down to 30, but the thing is, you will not get a chance to load AT, and especially the tank doesn't have that many shells either, because it has around 36 shells if I'm not mistaken. So if it's up to me, I might have 1 AP clip or 2 AP clip or standard clip, and then rest heat, and I'll just start with heat as Tokido has as well. And you will see that in this map, Tokido will basically play how this tank should be played. I guess that's pretty obvious, since that's how I was able to do 10k damage. The tank has 10 degrees gun depression, but the turret is not strong enough to reliably play hull down. So you have to kind of play around corners, someone makes a mistake, and you dump your clip in it. And when you're top tier, right, you can basically kill a tier 8 in your single clip. So one thing it is worth mentioning is, even though they changed this tank from medium to heavy, the tank still has the medium base concealment. So this tank has a base concealment of 376. So it's still worth it to put camo net. Of course, camo net only gives you 20 meters, but because how good the camo is in this tank, and the armor isn't that great, and if you kind of plan to snipe, right, especially with the heat having decent shell velocity of close to 1200, I would recommend trying out camo net as well. As it's autoloader, you're not equipping a loader, you're going with gun stab, vents, and the third option could be camo and optics. And with how many times you just end up facing 10s, you can kind of play around with both, but I would recommend trying camo net, even though it's just 20 meters as opposed to 40 for a medium tank, but you'll still have better camo than AMX 5120 that is a medium, because that tank has around 420 or 416 base concealment, and you get it down to like 376, and this tank has a base concealment of 376, and with the camo net you'll get to like 356. It's workable, not the greatest, but again, workable. So far he's already at 4700 damage. No one was kind of really paying attention to him, and he punished them for their mistakes. He does have 2 shells loaded here. One thing I do notice is that one of the things people do ask me is, what is the right time to reload a clip? I usually go with if you have less shells than half of your clip size, then you should definitely force a reload. And in this game, Tokido there will be a lot of instances when he'll have only 2 shells and he will not go for reload, especially because this tank doesn't have that quick reload, as I mentioned, right? If it's like a tier 10 with like a faster reload, right, like a TVP, then you can quickly force a reload, but that's not the case with this tank. Scorpion G, ignoring him, he was trying to push the other tank, and Tokido managed to put his 2 shells. So glad he didn't force a reload, otherwise he would be reloading when Scorpion G made the mistake. So when this game started, if I was in the game, I would never expect to a 10k game. The reason is, whenever a game starts, you look at how much damage you can do depending on what the map is and what's the matchmaking it's like. So Swamp, it's kind of an okay map, but you see there's 2 artilleries in the game and 2 light tanks. That just means the game would not last as long, and you need the games to last longer so you can have high damage games. And but not sometimes the games like this happens where you still ended up magnific or a huge amount of damage, even when the matchmaking doesn't give the initial indication. So Hori was jumping on that tank destroyer and Tokido farmed Hori in the back, put 2 shots into him. He's at 6200 damage, and both teams have 7 tanks in the game. And maybe at this point, he might think I might have like an 8k or 9k game, right? Because you don't know what the HP of the rest of the tanks are. Also, he is in assault, or this map is playing in the assault variant, so it kind of works in favor of defense, or it can work very against it, just because there's a time limit of 10 seconds, and sometimes the defending team is just set up defensively, and when you're pushing into them, when the attacking teams are pushing into you, you can just farm them. But sometimes your defending team just push and leave the base open, and it goes complete opposite way. So assault is kind of an extreme in one way or another for most of the games. But in this game, attacking team will always have the pressure to cap, right? Because even if there's one tank alive in the defending team and the opponent didn't capture the base, that will be a defending team victory. And since the timer is only 10 minutes, right, you kind of have to think it like that. If you have to cap, you kind of have to be close to cap around 2 minutes. So technically you only have around 8 minutes, and there's, I guess, no action for the first 30 seconds. You about to have like 7 minutes to like do enough damage to the enemy team where you can either cap the base, or I guess you have 10 minutes if you can kill all of them. But some maps are more defensively favored and not easy to kill. So their team is now winning 6-5, and Tokido has finally decided to push forward. Not that he was camping, because there were enough number of tanks that kind of pushed around the 8-9 line that was engaging with him, and once those are dead, he decided to push forward, since the enemy team are pushing the 2 line as well. Ryu gets spotted. He is tracked, lucky for him. He penned a shot into Ryu, missed the second shot, and we can see the frustrating barrel shake, and decided to just push forward, get closer to the enemy, again holding us onto his 2 shells, hoping that he might get a shot into Hori, the new tank destroyer. Kind of average, to be honest. I mean, I guess it's, especially they nerfed the reload as well. Not that it was great to begin with, but yeah, Hori life. He has a clear shot on Hori and miss. The accuracy was also improved as part of Reforged, by the way. I know it went from medium to heavy, and you get better accuracy. He is now reloading. Team is still winning by 6-5, and I guess at this point, this is the point where I would be like, okay, there is a potential for 10k, mainly because we have that huge HP of 2 artilleries, and that is 2500 damage, right? Well, 1 artillery died. Not sure when he died, actually. I guess he's been dead for a while. It's only one artillery remaining, and that's where you would think that you could have a potential for 10k. He is getting spotted by someone, though. Could be a light tank, could be a TD. He tried to peek that corner a couple times, but kind of failed. So decided to leave, right? There's not much time left, and you can see he wants to do damage. Gets spotted again by Waffle. Fired, missed. Didn't get spotted immediately, but then got spotted maybe by someone else. And Tokido didn't miss this time. He missed the shot on Hori, and Waffle missed again. But Tokido dumped his entire clip on a full health Waffle, bringing his total to 9,000 damage. There is 1 minute remaining, and Tokido will only get a chance to load his clip for the last time, as once he gets into position, if he can dump the clip, he will not get an opportunity to reload again. He does have 5 kills. At this point, it's kind of safe to say that his team will win, unless the enemy can kill everyone. But enemy is not in a position to kill all their tanks, especially because how spread they are. The heavy might die, the TD might die, but the artillery won't. Tokido know where the artillery was because he tried to fire at him. He's closing in towards artillery. 30 seconds remaining. Can it be a 10k game? I mean, obviously that's what the title says. Maybe I need to stop putting them on title. But in a tier 9, it is special. I only had one 10k in tier 9, and that was in Cobra T54. Similar tank to this one. And also that was the first game. Kind of missed a couple in a T60, but that's kind of a very OP tier 9 or tier 9.5. He did kill the artillery though. Still have 1 shell loaded. 6 seconds remaining. He spawns, puts a shot into Earthshaker, dumping his last loaded shell, and the Earthshaker that did kill him is actually a gold marked Earthshaker. So that's it for today. A great game in a tier 9 by Taquito. And I'll catch you in the next one. Have a great rest of your day.